welcome. I can't see you. Right.
It's a great pleasure to be. It's a great pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
Okay, and welcome to Minara Business and Professional Women. And we're very, very, I must say, honored to have you today. Actually, we got an introduction from Asghar Mohammed. I think he's been doing some background check on you, you know. So I'm very, now you can tell us about yourself now.
For those who don't know me, my name is Natasha. Dietrich is my surname. Most people think I'm still 47 years, but at the moment I'm 48. I celebrated my birthday last week on the 29th of April to turn 48 years old. I'm a mom of 2 children, age 18, and the other one is 30 years old. And at the moment, I'm a professional teacher, which a life journey started from a cleaner. So it is a great pleasure to be here this afternoon on the show.
Tell me, you just alluded to the fact that you were a cleaner. So, and you had metric qualification at that time. And so tell us what really moved you to go further in life, because, you know, most people, if they are cleaners or any other job that is possibly just metric related and you don't do any more, they get stuck to that. They would never progress. But reading about you, I was overwhelmed that you didn't just sit back. Someone inspired you. Tell us that journey.
My journey started as a cleaner on the premises of the University of the Western Cape. I was employed by a cleaning company called Bidwest Cleaning Services. So I was surrounded with students every day. And to see them motivated and to see the way of doing things actually inspired me, because my shift started at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So the area where I worked was actually the area where all the students came at night and start doing, even if it is assignments, but that was their gathering place to do their study work. So I was mostly inspired by them and to see how motivated they are to make a difference in life. And also the same thing that actually sparked me, it was mostly young people. They was not older, and I don't want to say older, but it wasn't a generation of people older than 30 years old. It was mostly youngsters. And then I thought to myself, but why? Why is the area of study or the learning only for younger people? Because I was getting that eagerness to do the same, but it was motivating for me because I didn't see any people older than 30 years. And then I decided I'm going to make a difference here. Even if I'm the first or the only one that is over 30 or over 40 years old, I'm gonna make a difference. And that is where everything actually started for me. While I was talking to them, it was for me very inspiring the way they were talking. And there's a difference between a normal conversation and when you're hearing students talking academic language. There's a huge difference. And I thought to myself, but I like this way of speaking the way they are doing it. And I told myself, if they can do it, then I can also do it. And that is where it all started.
So what was your age at that time?
We're looking 7 years back now, so I was 33 years old. Yes, I was 33 years.
Okay, so you were very young. That I don't classify you as with one of the older, because I mean you studied 33 years, and I was also 33 years and I started studying.
Sorry, madam, I've got the age wrong now. I was about 40 years old. Not
Yes.
in my I was 40 years old, yes.
40 years, 46. Yeah, I had 4 kids when I started studying. You know,
Yes.
so it's never too late and never feel that you are old, but you've got the brain to think forward. So tell me, when at the age of 40, right? And did you make inquiries with the students, or did you go straight to prospectus, look at the book and say, okay, this is what I want to study now? How did you go about? Tell us.
I had a very good friend. Her name is Sarah Lowe, and she was working in the admin side in that building. And then I discussed my desire to study with her. And then she motivated me to go into teaching, and also because I was also living in an area that was a very poor community. And she inspired me to get more information about the courses that I can study. But teaching was actually one of the things that I had in the back of my mind. So I went to gather much more information from what is teaching and how many years it's gonna cost me, and how I'm going to go about it. And the most wonderful thing about me starting was I applied on the very last day of the applications. I made up my mind on the very last day that I'm actually going to take this on. And I decided on teaching. But she was the lady that feed me with the information, introduced me to the education department people on the University of the Western Cape. And they also motivated me to go on and not to just, many people dream, but they don't make their dream a reality. And that is the difference. And they actually said, well, you have that desire, you have that dream, so make it possible. And that is what I did.
Yes, absolutely. And where did you get the funds to pay for the studies?
My first 2 years was funded by NSFAS. And 2 of those years were funded because I was working for a subcontracting company on the university. The university paid for 2 years, and the others was sponsored by the Funza Lusaka bursary because I was doing maths and science as my majors. So most of my funding was done by those 3 people. When you do the Funza Lusaka bursary, you have to have your majors in maths. And I'm very proud to say it myself. But I'm very great with when it comes to mathematics. So I was very lucky, and it was wonderful for me not to worry about any university fees because it was funded by the various people.
So the first year you did maths and what other subjects? I don't know how you did. I would never attempt it.
There was quite a lot of modules that I did, but the main thing actually started in your second year. What the university does is when you're starting at a later age, they split your 1 year into 2 years because many of the people that is starting late with academics, they struggle a bit to adapt to the student environment. So the first year was split into 2, which was just an introduction. But the second year, then we were dealing with biodiversity, and that is quite a major part of my course, where we're doing animals and plants. And in the third year, it is mostly educational modules that you do. You go to school, you do your practical at school. You're getting into that environment of teaching in your third and in your fourth year. But when it comes to maths and science, that is what is so wonderful about the course, because you have so very many options for future purposes. It doesn't end with education only. You can go into a medical field, you can go into pharmacy, you can go into forensics. So the option with maths and science gives you a broader view of jobs that are out there. And science specifically is physics. Physics is one of the subjects that I've done. And then chemistry is one of the other subjects which I've done.
Wow.
And then it is mathematics.
Oh, these are difficult science subjects, and you manage them all.
I managed them all with the grace, yes. It is not easy. It is really not easy to have done them all, but it is mostly depends on yourself, how devoted and how really you want to make this a success. It is a personal thing. It is not.
In grade 12, did you have science subjects then?
I had mathematics and I had life science, but really it wasn't the science of that time when I did matric, and the way they're teaching it now is way two different things. If
Yes.
you give me a mathematics paper today, I would be quite easy to do it. It won't be a problem. But give me a mathematics papers years ago, I would struggle. So there's a huge difference between the methods and the things that we are learning now at university level than it is to school level. There's a huge difference. That is why one of my lecturers always said, you can achieve a top results at school, but it is not the same at university level. There you go into depth. You go into things that you never thought was possible. And there is a very, very big difference between school and university when it comes to that subjects.
Yes. And did you do it part-time or full-time?
I did my course full-time. I did my course full-time, and I was also working permanently full-time. So I started my day every morning, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Every morning. And then I prepare whatever needs to be prepared at home, get my kids ready for school. And then I went off to university. And then my day started. I attended my classes during the day. Do whatever I can finish, what assignments and research I could have done. I finished because my shift at Midwest started 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it ends at 12 o'clock midnight. So I was like half of the day on university from 6 o'clock until 12 o'clock. Say for the last 6 years, that was my ongoing program that I adapted to.
So you could go to the library and do some research and take those books that are on reserve and read them at your own time.
Most of my research I was doing in my working hours. Unfortunately, I didn't have a choice, but being on that shift was quite helpful, because then I was able to do whatever I need to do. I went to the library during working hours, during night, and I've done my assignments. And sometimes when I get home after 12, then I finish what I didn't finish at work. So I sit maybe sometimes at night until the early morning. And when I'm talking about early morning, I'm talking about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was quite tiring, but if I look back at it now, it might seem to many people it is impossible to do, but it is possible. It is really possible, and I'm a living proof of that. That you just need to have that inner strength to push you to go harder. Because as you said, there are not many people at the matric level that decided to go further, and there's many reasons why people don't want to do that. mostly because they are family people. They have their family. And what is also important is many of our workers doesn't have that support from the employers. And I think that is why there are so many, there are many people that decided no, they're not going to take the chance because they don't get that support from the employers. And that is very important for anybody who's working and want to study. You must make sure that you have that relevant support from your company that you're working for.
Yeah, I think that's very important because where you fit it quite well is that you only work from 3 o'clock onwards. But if you had a cleaning job in the morning, that would have been a big challenge to you. So God assisted you in this whole thing where
Yes.
you had energy and you wanted to do something and you felt that you're moving towards your goal. And that's so important that you didn't get stuck to whatever you were doing, but you wanted a profession. Tell me, any other staff looked at you and said, wow, you're such a mentor, we learned from you this and we want to do exactly what you did. Did anyone take that cue from you?
To be honest, not really, not where I worked. Many of say the majority of the workers, they didn't really take it that seriously. They didn't think that it was possible to do. Many of them actually was waiting for me to fail this whole thing, and that is sad. Especially in the environment where I was working, many of the people that I was working with, they really didn't give that much of support. They were waiting for things to happen or to turn out in a bad manner. But now that I've completed, now is a total different story. Now they can actually see what I have accomplished. But while I was busy doing what I was doing, they didn't really take me much serious because they only see me walking up and down during the day while they were working. And when they were going home, I was coming to work. So they really didn't know what I was actually doing. And when they were asking about it, it was just, how are you? There wasn't really that much of interest as I thought there would be.
Yeah.
But now that everything is completed and I'm getting my degree, now they're actually looking at it at a different view. And maybe now they will realize that it is possible for you to achieve if you really want to do it. And I think the message is only going out now.
Yeah. Have you graduated already? Did you have the ceremony?
I'm going to graduate this coming Wednesday. Is our ceremony, but it's going to be a virtual graduation, and I was looking so forward to a live one, but unfortunately I have to sit at home and just watch the ceremony going off.
Yes. So you're not going to be capped or anything then? They're not going to do that?
No, I bought my own thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought to myself, I owe this to myself to celebrate it on the normal way. So I've got my cap and I've got my gown, and we are allowed to go to university on Wednesday at 10 o'clock to go and fetch our degrees. So once I have my degree, I'm going to do my own little celebration with my family.
Yeah, and have a photograph taken with the
yes.
attire. Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, yes. Exactly now what you are doing. Have you started teaching yet? Did you get placed in any school?
At the moment, I'm working at the school that we call Dr. van der Ros Primary. And that was the school where I've done my final year practical. And luckily there was a position open for me, and the principal decided, no, he wants me there. So yes, I'm teaching. it worked out so well for me because the school is just 5 minutes away from my house. It's walking distance. It's in my community. So yes, and I just wish that everybody, all my fellow students that is graduating with me, I have already jobs. There are a few of them which I know is still working, is still looking for work, but I'm one of the lucky ones that do have a job already.
Don't you think that you are just super lucky that everything just happened for you? I mean, the doors opened where you could study at ease, and your work was such that it was in the afternoon, and you had the time and the energy to do it. And now to end the whole thing, you got a school close to your house. And God Almighty has made it so easy for you. Are you a religious person or?
Yes. And, before this whole interview, there was quite a lot of articles about me in the newspaper. And then one of my learners' mother came to talk with me after she read the article. And she said the most amazing thing that really touched me very much. She told me that there was something that I have done in my life that gave me that grace of God, because during my studies it is also a spiritual thing. You have to believe in God, because no human being can have that inner strength if it doesn't come from something almighty. So yes, I do believe, and it is all thanks to God that this is possible, because there are so many of my students, my friends, that are still looking for work, and everything worked out so beautifully. I didn't stress about fees. I didn't stress about a study place. I didn't stress about work. So yes, I would really think that nothing is impossible if you don't believe in a higher power. And I strongly believe in God. Yes.
Oh, that's lovely. What's your final message to all the women out there, and even those that are just working and don't want to really up themselves and have a vision like you, your final words? And yeah.
My final words is words of encouragement. I would like to encourage every single woman not to look at the age that they are now. If there's a desire, you must go on and take it on. It is not a very easy road to take, but in the end of the day, it is empowerment. It is about gaining knowledge. It is about putting back to your community where you're coming out. It is about giving something. It is about developing yourself and others around you. And many people are putting money as an obstacle. Money is not an obstacle. There is funds available. So all you have to do is to make that decision and say, yes, I'm going to take this on. As I said before, it is not an easy path. Many times, I also thought to myself, I want to give up. But you can't make that decision and just fall down and not standing up and continue. So all the women out there, they must really take a chance. If that opportunity comes along, they must do it. And then also, I really need to make an appeal for the employers out there, that they must encourage their workers. They must also provide opportunities for their workers to do so, because many times people are working for companies and they don't even know how many people are having matric. So they must really go into the employers and ask them, encourage them, feed them with information, because I think there's also a lack of information out there. Many women don't know about NSFAS that is available for them. They don't know the courses that there are at university. So information should be available and must be available for all the workers out there, irrespective what work you are doing. Um, you can't just be happy with just a normal general worker. You are entitled to something better.
Exactly. You are a great inspiration. I must say, you have done marvelously well, and you brought growth in your life. I would like you to send me some of the newspaper cuttings, please. And if ever anyone has written to you, I'd love to put it on Facebook and share it with everyone, because it's something for others to learn. They must understand that you can't just be in the doldrum. You have to pick
Yes,
yourself, and no one's going to do it for you. You have to do it yourself. And that is
yes,
what you've done. You grew yourself, you developed yourself, and you're a great inspiration to every woman out there. So thank you very much, Natasha. I like your name. It's a beautiful name. I hope they don't call you Nat all the time. People break
no,
names. Don't let them. And I'm sure they must be saying, Natasha, ma'am, Natasha, ma'am. Which
just one last thing, if I may. I'm working in a very poor community with a very poor school, and I just like to ask anybody out there who's looking at this video to please maybe support our school, because when you're in that learning environment, you actually see what is needed, and the main thing about education, it all starts at school. It doesn't start at university. It starts at school. So working at Dr. Van der Ros, I realized the shortage of learning material that we really do need. And it was a great pleasure to I name it a pleasure, because going through all that difficult times, especially when it came to COVID-19, I actually realized how important internet access is for everyone, because I didn't have internet access, even if as we speak now. And for schools to have not really that resources to make learning more easier, that is a challenge. And I think my appeal out there for people is to close that gap, or to try to close that gap that is in the learning environment of Dr. Van der Ros, because we really need support, not only for our teachers, but for our learners, because teaching is an everyday learning progress. It's it's a part of you that is happening every day. And it is all about developing our children, developing their needs, developing their values, and many of them learning differently. And it's sad, but it's true. But at our school, mostly we only are using blackboards, and there's so much more. So I am asking for anybody, any company, anybody that are willing to contribute anything that can help us to close that gap, to please do so. And we would really, really highly appreciate that. Thank you, ma'am.
I will communicate with you about that personally, possibly on WhatsApp or something. All right.
Okay.
We'll see how best, if help does come through. If you were in Durban, I would have said, yes, tomorrow, what do you need? And we will fill the gap. But you being in Cape Town, I have to start looking for people in Cape Town to close the gap.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And please carry on with your ambition, and maybe also study more to be a lecturer one day at the university. Have that in mind as well.
Yes, thank you very much. But I'm definitely going to go back next year.
Yes, you're still very young, so have that in mind. Thank you so much. And on behalf of MBPW, we thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.